There is a feeling it seems like it hit the bus directly. See, there it is.
Here's the 1683 bus that burned.
New video shows the aftermath of Himars strikes on a Russian column in Donetsk Oblast.
Here there's a vehicle in the field, I don't know, with the UAZ. Looks like the first hit us. Then we started getting hit here. We didn't manage to evacuate.
That's when it hit. The car started.
And here is the Himars.
Hold on. We need to gather all the weapons.
Guys, it was put out here. Now I'll ask those firefighters too. I did what I could, put it out, dragged it out. There is a feeling it seems like it hit the bus directly. See, there it is.
Here's the 1683 bus that burned. Looks like it hit the wheel. See, ahead of there, right ahead. That's where it hit. Damn, right here.
It hit it correctly, you see. And then after that, it hit us, damn it. And there are the Euros, there they are.
So our first bus, the one that hit us, we started it, got stuck, couldn't start it in time, it won't start. We'll try again now.
The moment of the final flight into hell for a Russian Su-25 attack aircraft yesterday. Videos posted on social media of the purported crash by bloggers with close ties to the Russian Air Force appear to show the plane crashing into a field after closely being followed by another fighter jet. A Ukrainian Mi-24 hunts down a Russian Shahed drone. Ukrainian helicopters have taken on a new role, hunting Russian drones. Flying low and fast, they patrol front lines and rear areas, using thermal imaging and onboard weapons to detect and destroy drones mid-flight or at launch points. This tactic disrupts Russia's surveillance and strike capabilities, giving Ukrainian forces a critical edge. A Ukrainian Shark reconnaissance drone helped destroy two Russian air defense systems, the OSA and Strela-10. Russian OSA and Strela-10 systems continue to be pivotal in Ukraine's battlefield aerial engagements. The 9K-33 OSA is a mobile, radar-equipped SAM system on a 6x6 chassis. It detects, tracks, and engages low-altitude aircraft and drones, with 6 onboard missiles ready for rapid response. The 9K-35 Strela-10, built on a tracked MTLB chassis, uses infrared optical seekers to engage low-flying threats within 5 kilometers. In essence, both systems remain crucial assets, but face ongoing evolution on both sides. Modernized sensors and missiles versus asymmetric drone tactics. This is hilarious. Russians training to storm the right bank. In the shifting landscape of southern Ukraine, the Dnipro River Delta has become a key front where Ukraine's forces are actively contesting Russian attempts to gain ground. Since the Russian withdrawal from the West Bank in late 2022, both sides have turned the Delta's labyrinth of islands and waterways into a tense and deadly battleground. Ukrainian Marines, supported by drones and artillery, regularly launch reconnaissance missions and targeted strikes against Russian outposts scattered across the Delta's marshy terrain. Boat-borne skirmishes are frequent, with small units from both armies maneuvering through narrow channels in inflatable boats and light craft. These hit-and-run tactics are supported by advanced surveillance, including thermal imaging and real-time battlefield tracking systems like Ukraine's Delta battlefield platform. Another 1,245 bodies of the fallen Ukrainians have been brought back to Ukraine under the agreements reached during the negotiations in Istanbul. This marks the completion of the repatriation efforts within the framework of those agreements. In total, Ukraine has received 6,057 bodies under the Istanbul agreements. Today marks the final stage of repatriation efforts under the agreements reached in Istanbul. Another 1,245 bodies have been brought back to Ukraine, which the Russian side claims belong to Ukrainian citizens, including service personnel. The identification of the repatriated bodies will be carried out by law enforcement investigators in cooperation with experts from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. All necessary forensic examinations will be conducted. During negotiations in Istanbul on the 2nd of June, Ukraine and Russia agreed to exchange 6,000 for 6,000 bodies of fallen soldiers. The Ukrainian and Russian delegations also agreed on an all-for-all exchange of severely wounded service members and those aged 18 to 25. President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that of the 6,000 bodies Russia intends to hand over to Ukraine, only 15% have been identified. On 11th June, Ukraine received the bodies of 1,212 fallen defenders. Another 1,200 bodies were returned on the 14th of June. On 15th June, another 1,200 bodies were brought back to Ukraine. The stage of the repatriation operation involving rail transport was completed on the 15th of June. All future stages will be carried out using road vehicles. Let's see the other military news. A Royal Air Force F-35B fighter jet made an emergency landing at Thiruvananthapuram International Airport on the night of June 15th. This was reported on the official page of the Indian Air Force on X. The aircraft, part of the 617 Squadron, was assigned to the HMS Prince of Wales aircraft carrier, which is currently deployed in the Indo-Pacific region. The fighter was initially performing a scheduled flight outside the Indian Air Defense Identification Zone in the Thiruvananthapuram area. According to unofficial information released by British media, the emergency landing was made due to insufficient fuel for a safe return to the aircraft carrier. Judging by the published photos, the F-35B has the tail number ZM168 and is one of the newest aircraft of this type in the Royal Air Force. According to the representatives of the Indian Air Force, preparations are currently underway for the aircraft to return to the aircraft carrier. Neither the pilot nor the aircraft were damaged during the landing. In addition, an ASRAAM training missile was suspended from the aircraft at the time of the emergency landing. It should be noted that the F-35B currently does not have external fuel tanks, so its combat radius and maximum flight range are limited. In addition, the B version is a modification with a shortened takeoff and vertical landing, so aircraft are not usually refueled to full capacity for a safe takeoff from the ramp. This incident was one of the few involving F-35B aircraft in the Royal Air Force, which had previously made emergency landings for technical reasons. Despite this, one aircraft of this type was lost during takeoff from the HMS Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier in the Mediterranean Sea. The incident occurred on November 17, 2021. The cause of the loss was a mistake by technical personnel who forgot to remove the transport plugs from the air intakes. BAE Systems has opened a new factory in Sheffield to produce M77 howitzers, creating 200 new jobs. This was announced by the UK Ministry of Defence. The creation of the new 8,733 square metre factory required an investment of £25 million. Production will specialise in artillery, particularly M777 howitzers, with the possibility of expanding production lines. Sheffield will thus become the base for howitzer production in the UK. The factory is expected to be fully operational by the end of the year. This will create 200 new highly skilled jobs and support more than 60 businesses in the supply chain across the UK. It is noted that this factory was made possible by successful export deals worth over £25 million. In particular, in April 2025, BAE Systems was awarded a $162 million contract to manufacture titanium parts for M777 howitzers for the U.S. Army. The first titanium parts under this contract will be manufactured at the new factory in Sheffield, with deliveries starting in 2026. BAE Systems has seen interest in the howitzers from across Europe, Asia, and America. The resumption of M777 production provides a unique opportunity for new and existing users of the howitzer to benefit from the scale of production, BAE Systems said at the time. During the factory opening, Defence Minister John Healey said, "This new plant is a major boost for South Yorkshire and a significant step forward in strengthening our British defence industrial base." Plans to start manufacturing M777 howitzers in the UK were announced back in January 2024. The resumption of production is linked to increased demand for M777 howitzers, which are used by both the armed forces of Ukraine and the U.S. Army and Marine Corps. In addition, according to BAE Systems, other European and Asian countries, as well as Canada and Australia, which donated their howitzers to Ukraine, are also interested in purchasing the M77. Actual construction of the factory began in November 2024 and was completed in less than a year.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.